Big thanks to HiLow for sponsoring this podcast. Right now, you can get 15% off with the code BIG315 at HiLow.com. HiLow is a perfectly balanced meal. It's designed by experts to provide all the nutrients your body needs from a meal. HiLow takes the guesswork out of healthy eating. And right now, you can try it for 15% off using my exclusive code BIG315. That's 15% off with the code BIG315 at HiLow.com. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with HiLow. Nutritionally complete meals in minutes, so you can focus on what really matters.
This week, we're checking out Jaguar's minimalist rebrand, plus a render artist restomod that teaches an old Jag new tricks. Also, Lotus is ditching EVs and a radial engine that could mean the future of engine swaps. But first, this year's LA Auto Show and the HiLow Finale over in Tucson. We're going to talk about it. Welcome to the Big Three. Yeah. Hello. I'm so tired. Welcome back to the Big Three, everybody. This is the only auto news show you need to listen to. We like our podcast over here like we like our Thanksgiving turkeys. Stuffed to the brim.
Stuffed with 3 or 4 different things, like carrots and sausage.
Sausage?
You never put carrots and sausage in your stuffing?
I don't know. I don't recall. I've never stuffed any turkey actually myself, so I don't know what goes in there. I just eat it. You know what I'm saying?
The carrots are going to be the news about Jaguar, and the sausage is going to be the HiLow news that we're going to talk about.
Behind the scenes, how the sausage gets made. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Once again, my name is Nolan Sykes. I'm joined this week by Joe Weber.
Hey, what's up? It's me.
And Max Maddox.
Because I'm an island boy.
Bringing that back.
We're bringing it back.
Great.
He came in singing that.
I know. I said, do not do that.
Well, the reason I brought that up was because we were reminiscing about how 3 years ago, when the Island Boys were having their moment, we thought it would be so funny.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be so funny if we hired them on Cameo to do a merch holiday promo for us.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and we were like, this is gonna be so funny. This is like such a meme-y thing.
We loved it.
We loved it internally, and then we posted it, and then nobody liked it.
Nobody loved it. In fact, they hated it.
Yeah.
It was
They actually they returned clothes to us once we listened to that promo.
I don't want to be associated with you guys.
Honestly, in retrospect, though, that was pretty funny.
I'm glad we did
really
it.
Funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our first story here. You guys went to the LA Auto Show.
Yeah, it's kind of dismal, honestly. That's my take. Not a lot happened this year. There's a couple. Like, I think the coolest things that happened were in the off-road aftermarket section.
Mm-hmm. It's hot.
So we're doing a video on cars that are interesting that are coming out this year, and we spent a lot of time looking around, looking for things that were interesting. We found a couple,
yes,
but I felt a lot of it was very much like car makers are trying to do new things, but cars are already really good, so they don't need to innovate that much more. And nothing felt super duper fresh.
Well, it's just like it's happening with technology too, where it's like just micro better than the last, and it's just like everything is really good up here, and there's not a lot of variance in how, there's not like a really bad car versus a really good car. Everything's pretty good.
So Kia's exhibit was really popular because they have this like badass adventure van with huge tires. I don't know if it's based on the
Weekender.
The Weekender is what they're calling it.
It was like a SEMA build, though.
That thing's sick. That big old boxy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really cool. That one gathered a pretty good crowd.
I've seen a few people on Instagram, including our buddy Max for Cracks, who is a he lives over in Silver Lake. He's a cool cigarette smoking dude.
You're actually
a Silver Lake cowboy kind of vibe.
You Westsiders think that Silver Lake is the pinnacle of cool?
Because everyone I've ever met that's super cool, with the exception of Jesse Wood, lives in Silver Lake. It's like he lives over, on the west side. He's the only West Sider that I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool as hell.
You guys want to know a little
secret? It's not like that, though.
It is like that. I go over there and I feel underdressed walking down the street.
You know what Silver Lake is now? It's like 47-year-old production managers with a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Being Max for Cracks posted on his Instagram story that he thought it was cool. So if he thinks it's cool, that's a cool Kia.
Kia.
Yeah, that's neat. That was over at SEMA. That was also attracting a crowd over there as well.
But
People
see,
were
that's
I
like-
can't believe I think a Kia's cool.
Hot take, but
Yeah.
Kia's kind of killing it lately.
Honestly, Hyundai is kind of killing it lately with their design.
I did like the Santa Fe. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, they have the new the Magma, which is their
The
higher-end-
Genesis. Yeah.
the Magma Genesis. What is it? The G.
Liquid hot magma.
The Magma GV60,
Yeah.
which is like their
It's a
hot boy.
Veloster.
Oh yeah,
It's cool looking.
Yeah.
It's got like a cool ass body kit.
cool ass.
It's probably fast. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't get to see it driving.
We do. Yeah, I think that, okay, not to be super negative about it, there were really cool parts of the auto show. I think the Chrysler concept was, the Halcyon concept by Chrysler was pretty cool.
I'm unfamiliar with this.
It just
Describe it
looks,
to me.
it's never going to get made, but it looks like a spaceship, and the windscreen is massive, and it kind of, it has that concept car like dash where you're like, it just screams, this is never going to get made.
Chrysler Halcyon. Okay. Yeah. So this is definitely a design kind of concept.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or what do they call that? When it's a concept car, it's not like a production car that's coming out, but it's like setting the stage for the design language going forward. That
Yeah.
thing's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Chrysler, I remember a couple months ago, there's news about it, like an all-wheel drive Chrysler EV. Maybe that's what they're going to be basing it off of, this Halcyon right here.
Yeah, the door, there's suicide
Suicide
doors
doors
in
in
the
the
back. It opens up to this huge
That's sick.
cabin.
They're like
Okay.
suicide scissor doors. That's sick.
I'm really into this.
Is
Yeah,
it-
it probably won't get made like that, but it looks
Interesting that
awesome.
Chrysler is the one
know.
that's putting this out instead of Dodge or another one
Honestly,
of those
though,
automaker brands.
well,
'Cause
Chrysler, I mean, this will be a prevailing theme, I think, across a few of our stories today. But, I think brands and their parent companies are starting to be more discerning as to what each brand's role is within their
Yeah.
company. Like Chrysler, Dodge already has a flagship EV sports coupe,
they've got the
in
new Charger.
the Charger
right?
and the Charger Daytona.
Mhm.
I think
whereas
Chrysler's
Chrysler-
positioning themselves to be like the luxury
Yeah,
brand.
you got to take it to your Lucid Airs
Yeah.
and your Tesla Model S's
Right.
of the world.
Cadillac
with something
now,
like
too,
this.
getting in the
Cadillac with
game.
the Evoque? No.
Celestiq.
Celestiq,
Celestiq,
huh?
the $300,000
Yeah.
Yes.
super bespoke
Yeah.
Cadillac.
When we went to the auto show last year, it was kind of, it wasn't depressing, but it was like, it didn't really wow me. And even then, people were saying that the auto show is kind of, the LA auto show is kind of falling off a little bit. Less and less manufacturers are showing up. I don't even think there were any German manufacturers there when we went, right?
I mean, it's really late in the year. It's not a huge priority for manufacturers.
Mhm.
Like,
It should be. I mean, not should be a priority, but it should be cool. I mean, it is like one of the biggest in the country.
Yeah,
yet
and
it's
this was-
underwhelming.
and this, for this area too, is
Mhm.
like where car culture thrives. And
Mhm.
I don't
should
know
be
that
cool
auto
things.
shows make a ton of sense anymore in general because car makers use social media now when they
Yeah.
have new cars.
It's
Yeah.
like high school reunions. Like, you don't want to, you know what
That's
Chad is up
an
to.
interesting point. Although I will say, I don't know if someone like Jaguar, which we'll get to in a bit, debuted a new car to go along with their rebrand at the auto show. That would make it more worth
Mhm.
going to. Also, is the admission, is it free to go?
No.
How much is it? $15, $20?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That feels like about right.
I did see, okay, my
It
favorite.
is pretty cheap to go though.
It is, yeah. Every other build there was like huge and had huge, like 37-inch tires and blah, 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 whatever. Just like too much going on. And this Flex Land Cruiser was just like tastefully modified, like just very nice. And it just stood out because it was just like not a lot. Tickets are $28.
$28.
$28. That's
Mm.
a little pricey,
Yeah,
honestly. It should be like
$28.
15 bucks,
Yeah.
honestly. If you want to get more people in there. Another
But
thing
you get
is,
a free Chrysler Pacifica with that.
I think maybe it might be too close to SEMA too. Or maybe automakers
Yeah.
are treating SEMA like they would the auto show now because, Toyota had a bunch of really cool concepts
Yes,
they brought.
did. The surf
Yeah,
concept.
the 4Runner Surf, the GR 86
Yes.
4-track, or
The Celica looking
the
one.
Celica GR4 is the concept they called it.
I know
Something
they
like that.
brought those cars to
They brought
auto
those
show
there
as well.
So that's the other thing is like they're debuting these at SEMA, which is undoubtedly the bigger show.
Yep.
Maybe that's what it is. It's too close to SEMA.
It does, like, we went last year, we missed the deadline for press, so we had to go
Mhm.
with all the plebs. and it was like packed. It's
Yeah,
very
it was pretty
popular.
busy. Yeah.
Tesla Cybercab was there.
Yeah.
That was an interesting one.
And you'll be happy to know that they put actual like wheel covers on it instead of just spray
Oh, yeah.
painting
Mhm.
Continental tires.
Oh yeah.
It's
I'm
wild
happy to know
looking.
that. Yeah.
They got the doors all opened up,
Yeah.
no steering wheel,
Cool.
Yeah.
different size wheels. So I think the front wheels are larger than the rear.
Maybe they just have those covers on there though.
I think they're different sizes.
Hmm.
I think they're because of I don't know.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. Oh, I went to the premiere of the new Tiguan. They've got a new Tiguan.
Awesome.
Went to the unveiling. It's fine. It's
a
great.
car.
It's fine. But you know what's interesting about it? It's got massage seats
Okay.
and it's got
Okay.
this like cool, it's got like one of those full screens that goes across the whole thing. It has this like really vibey, like ambiance.
I think this is what the issue is. It's like the companies debut their cool shit at SEMA,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's fun. SEMA's fun. We're over in Vegas. We're having a good time. Big show, lots of people, and then we come back here, and it's like, what else you got for us? Well, we got massage seats.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I was saying, I think every car is good right now.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they need to do now to get people in the door is to
Yeah.
be like, oh, well, this one gives you massage and this one has cool lights and everything. But
This one punches your ass.
well, dude, I was in the Grand Wagoneer that we rented for Tucson, and that had some serious ass massaging.
In the front seat only, or
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Those are nice. That I was impressed with those. Speaking of Tucson,
Let's talk about
let's
it.
talk about it real quick for a little bit. No spoilers here. We're not going to give away the finale, but big thank you to everybody at the event who got to see the finale. All
It was-
3,000 of you.
It was
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah. Very fun. Just really great time. It was a long day, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the track there for like 12 hours. But yeah, we shot our HiLow Finale over at Tucson Dragway, Trouble in Tucson. We were advertising that in our latest video, and we went and did it. The cars performed well.
Mm-hmm.
We just luckily did not have any issues. I mean, big issues. We definitely had issues. Both cars had issues, but not like catastrophic, which
Mhm.
is good because we wanted to put on a good show for you guys, but also make a good video.
Yeah.
And having some catastrophic failure would be
It would make
bad.
a good video.
Good content.
Wouldn't make a good live show.
Right. So it just went off without a hitch. Big shout out to just everybody here at Donut who put it on.
You mean Donut Hole Media?
Donut Hole Media.
Yeah. So a local news, what do you call it? A newspaper?
Station?
A local news station
News
from
station.
Tucson put out an article about a YouTube channel. They put on a live show and they called us Donut Hole Media.
Donut Hole
They
Media.
interviewed the track owner,
Yeah.
but no one from Donut. And he was like, yeah, I think they just want to like get kids off the streets from racing.
Which is pretty true. Yeah. I mean, they were supposed to come on the day of the event. Then they got the team that was coming out, they got assigned to a different story. So I think probably did it over the phone. Yeah, I mean, it was a really fun time.
You mean there was bigger news in Tucson at the time?
Well, we accidentally scheduled the Trouble in Tucson event for the same day as the Tour de Tucson, which is apparently the largest cycling race in the U.S.
Really?
Which shut down some. Yeah,
Wow.
I looked into it.
Oh.
Big event. All the hotels were like sold out because all these people were bringing their bikes out, which fine.
And they have to rent a hotel room for their bike.
Yeah,
They're so expensive.
bike gets nervous.
Big thanks to Yamaha for sponsoring this podcast. Life's an adventure. Time to let more people in on the fun and share the journey. Introducing Yamaha's latest terrain-conquering side-by-side that combines class-leading power with maximum comfort and versatility. The all-new Wolverine R-Max 4 1000 has ample room for 4 adult passengers, plus plenty of cargo space so you can tackle new terrain, expand your horizons, and go further than ever before. Side-by-sides are so fun, and Yamaha is so reliable. If you like doing outdoor stuff, this is such a fun vehicle for you and your family. Like I said, it can fit up to 4 full adults. That's you and 3 of your boys, or your wife and her friends. It's so fun, so go to your Yamaha dealership, test drive one of these things, you're not going to regret it. Experience its capability at YamahaMotorsports.com and see your local dealer today. Always protect the environment and wear your seatbelt, helmet, eye protection, and protective clothing. Read the owner's manual and product warning labels before operation. Thanks, Yamaha. This podcast is sponsored by HuEL, spelled H-U-E-L, the world's #1 complete nutrition brand trusted by millions. Head to HuEL.com now to place your first order of this ultra-convenient, nutritionally complete meal. Whether it's for busy mornings, late nights, or powering through a hectic schedule, HuEL's ready-to-drink meals are the easiest way to get all the nutrition you need in seconds. And right now, you can try it for 15% off using my exclusive code BIG315. Fuel up the easy way with HuEL today. HuEL is a perfectly balanced meal. It's designed by experts to provide all the nutrients your body needs from a meal. HuEL takes the guesswork out of healthy eating. And they taste great. My personal favorite is the Black Edition Ready to Drink. It's got a whopping 35 grams of protein, plus 27 vitamins and minerals, all in one handy bottle. And lastly, HuEL is incredibly affordable. With high protein meals less than $5, it's a budget-friendly option that anyone can afford. Don't believe me? Take the leap and join the community of HuEligans with this exclusive offer of 15% off with the code BIG315 at HuEL.com. That's 15% off with the code BIG315 at HuEL.com. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with HuEL. Nutritionally complete meals in minutes, so you can focus on what really matters.
So anyway, super fun. We had jet cars. We had a funny car, a Big Show funny car, which I was super excited for you guys to feel in person.
Let's talk about that jet car, dude.
Yeah, well, I know. Everyone wants to talk about the jet car. Funny cars, cooler in my opinion. Jet car, look, the jet cars, they're an exhibition thing. They don't actually race those anywhere. Like, it's like a come out, it's a sideshow kind of deal. Very impressive. I mean, those guys are strapping themselves into a freaking rocket. They go hit like 270 at the quarter mile.
290.
290.
One of them almost went 300 miles per hour.
Insane. Yeah, they're
and the
really
feeling,
cool.
I mean, and I know like, oh yeah, a jet is loud, but this like thunderous boom that just shakes you to the core.
I mean, they use engines. I've seen these before, and usually they use the F4 Phantom engine. So I wonder if that was the same one that was on these cars. But man, like when those things are firing up, they're hitting the afterburner in the staging lane, basically, before the burnout box to like get the engine warmed up. And it's just like, you feel it. It's like a bomb going off next to you.
It's like a 40-foot flame comes out of this thing.
It's insane. Yeah. And all that exhaust, like me and Job were like kind of behind the car and like this huge plume of jet fuel exhaust.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be breathing this in right now.
No,
but
they were just shooting it out
super
there.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, they're fun. They're cool.
Yeah.
They're cool.
What was crazy too, there's all this smoke that billows out of the jets before they get going, and the whole air, it's like, you know, dense fog.
Yeah.
As soon as they take off, blows the entire atmosphere away. Like,
it's
all the
sick.
fog disappears.
Okay. The reason I'm a funny car guy. I love my funny cars. Love my Top Fuel. Top Fuel, it's an engine that we're used to. It's a V8 engine. These are jet engines. That's why I have the opinions. It's not a car engine. It's a jet engine.
Yeah.
Plain. Then we had a guy attempt to do the world's fastest skateboard.
Yes.
Where he built the skateboard with like a kart engine on the back. And he hit like 89 miles an hour or something like that.
Did he break the record?
He was trying to hit 100. I don't think they hit that. They were having some issues.
He did break the record though, because he had set the record before, being as how it's the only, 100-mile-per-hour skateboard.
Right.
And I think he had a record of 86 before. Yeah. He got up to 87 or 88.
Okay. So
I've only done like 82 on my skateboard.
It was sick. That was really cool. We had the fastest street car in Tucson come out for some test and tune. It was this Fox body with like a huge turbo engine under the hood, and he did an 8.5 at the quarter mile.
Whoa.
At like 160 or something like that. And the announcer was saying that guy daily drives that thing to work every day.
So
and it's like, yeah, man, if you were down in there on 22nd Street, you'll probably see this car. He drives it to work every day. And it was the sickest car. It was so cool. So anyway, thank you guys so much for coming out. I definitely want to, like, Tucson Dragway, great track. Like, once we got there, we're checking out the whole facility. Like, it was perfect. We had like a little clubhouse to hang out in that had a patio. That was super cool. It was just an awesome vibe out there. Great weather. All you guys out there that came out, thank you so much.
And it's only an 8-hour drive as opposed to Albuquerque, which is like 12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it took us 12 hours to get there because we had like a caravan of like 8 cars.
And you have to feed Heber his bottle halfway through.
Take
a poo-poo.
Lotus is the latest automaker to walk back on its all-electric plans. Lotus CEO Feng King Feng told Autocar last week that the company will be focusing on range-extending hybrid technology instead. Now, Lotus is historically known as the simplify and add lightness brand. So, it was kind of a big deal when they announced that they were going all EV.
Yeah, because EV is heavy.
EV is heavy. So they joined companies like Bentley in walking back on their EV plans. They said they'll introduce a turbocharged gas engine with a 900-volt system they're calling the Super Hybrid.
Whoa.
Very creative name. But
Cool.
they also said they're still going to make full-blown EVs. I think it's complicated. Yeah.
Hot take.
Hot take,
Hot
dude.
take. No, I mean, Lotus is... they have a joint venture with Geely over there in China.
Well, they're owned by Geely.
Geely is a majority stakeholder in Lotus. But yeah, Geely, big EV automaker. Makes sense for them to use that nameplate over in China with like the EV SUVs. I don't know. Again, like with Chrysler and Dodge, like maybe they're looking at it again. It's like, oh, actually, we have this brand that's really known for sports cars. Doesn't make sense for us to be making them EVs instead when like decades of brand recognitions based around super light sports cars. Like you said, battery's not light, battery's heavy. Battery heavy. Yeah, so this is interesting. I also think like when it comes to the trend of brands walking back on the all EV thing, I think it just has to do with everybody who's bought an EV everyone that can buy an EV in this current economy has bought one.
Right.
And now no one else can buy them. They're too expensive. The cheapest, I actually took some notes on my handy little sticky pad here. So like the cheapest EV you can get in the US right now, Nissan Leaf, with a 40 kilowatt hour battery for around $30,000. And those actually exist. Like I went on Nissan's website to like make sure you could actually, that there were cars out there in those configurations. Cause sometimes you'll see like Tesla loves to do this where it's like, oh yeah, you could get a Model 3 for 35 grand. Actually, no, you can't because they don't build those cars that you could do that with. But these EVs, these Leafs out there for $30,000, they do exist. And you could buy them. It just happens to be a really boring looking EV that's
super tiny.
They're not that. They're kind of big, actually.
They're teensy.
They're not teensy. I think they're just boring. I think that's the issue with the Nissan Leafs. Also, you don't get very good range. 40 kilowatt battery. Like that's not going to get you.
You know what I would do? I'd overclock my Nissan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Put a big old CPU cooler on there.
Yeah, the water cool. LEDs.
I think another issue is that I think overall, these brands were kind of counting on solid state batteries to be in a further along in their development than they have been. That was kind of like the holy grail a little bit a couple years ago. Is like once these solid state batteries take off, when we figure out how to build them, one, costs will go down, but also you could feasibly make a Lotus that was electric and light because solid state batteries are so much lighter.
I think we did a story a while ago that solid state batteries are still like 5 to 8 years away from being pretty good.
That's what they keep saying. Toyota is very invested in the solid state development right now, but it has stalled. It's a lot harder than we think. I'm not even sure what the technology in the back end entails, but I think that's holding it back a little bit too. My belief is that some company like Geely or NIO or BYD is going to figure the solid state thing out. And once they do, the rest of we're probably just going to be licensing that technology.
Interesting. And I mean, not to mention like electric cars are expensive. And I think that's why a lot of manufacturers are backpedaling too. It's because they're just not selling them as much.
I wasn't able to find data on how much it takes to build a car like a Lucid Air or even an F-150 Lightning.
Right.
To see like what the profit margins are. Like a regular F-150, pretty cheap to manufacture for Ford.
Yep.
And when they mark them up, like if you get a King Ranch for $95,000, they're probably making $60,000 on that truck, you know. Whereas an EV, those numbers are harder to find.
I don't think Ford's making that much money on the Lightnings. I think they're planting their stake now so that they can build the infrastructure in case everything pivots.
Well, they're doing a really smart thing, which is offering free home charger installation with their EVs, which is like, why wouldn't you do that? That's a very like fits into the Ford ethos of making everything approachable and affordable.
Here's a question. We know, like, but we go to K1 Speed pretty often.
Yeah.
They have electric go-karts.
Those are fun.
They're pretty fun. I could see a Lotus EV being pretty fun if it had the same driving dynamics, right?
Yeah.
Would you be interested in something like that?
I would absolutely. Yeah. I don't think it's like I would drive any Lotus, whether it's a hybrid, gas, or electric. I think the platform kind of lends itself to an EV motor, like it's just low, tiny. You don't need that much battery because if you're going to track it or something,
That's true.
Just plug it in between sessions. I don't know. I think it's a weird move, but it makes sense to me because also hybrid engines are so good now. And why not take some of that production cost away they use like Toyota engines or Honda engines, right?
Yes. Yeah. Lotus does not build their own engines. They get them from other companies. Yeah.
So probably now they're going to use a Geely engine.
Maybe. Or they might just keep using Geely electronics with a Toyota engine would make sense. Yeah.
Either way, like a hybrid Lotus is going to rip.
Yeah.
I want to drive a Lotus, dude. I love Lotuses.
I can't really fit in an old Elise. I tried one time at an autocross like 10 years ago and I was way too big. Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah. There was one in the office, that bright green one.
What was that, an Exige or?
Exige. That thing was tiny. I was like, I had my knees up by my shoulders.
My knees to my plums.
Knees to the plums.
So last week, Jaguar showcased one of the most bizarre rebrands a car maker might have ever done.
Yeah, I love that they teamed up with Bubbly for this.
Let's take a look.
The new Jag logo.
Create exuberant. Oh, yeah. Live vivid. Look like
delete ordinary.
Delete ordinary. I like that guy. They got the Jamiroquai house. They're walking through there. Break molds.
Yeah. This is the ad for Jaguar?
Yeah.
I thought this was the ad before the ad.
Copy nothing, Jaguar. All right. So what they've done now, they've got this very minimalist looking logo with thin letters.
Yeah. This is what every manufacturer is doing right now, though. VW, BMW both did the minimalist thin white line.
And now let's take a look at their previous logo too, just for reference. What did they change? Okay, so before
it's a little bit boomery.
Yeah,
it's like big cat jumping through the air. What's not to like?
That font screams 2002 though.
It does, but don't put the cat over the new one, and maybe we got it.
Okay, so what we're looking at is before the font was very. I'd say the letters were.
I would say
masculine.
Manly letters, really like hard angles.
No serifs.
Sans serif, indeed. Yeah. And now they've just rounded everything out. They made it thinner and rounder.
Yeah, I mean, it does taller. Look like the bubbly,
also
seltzer water logo.
The A's and the R are lowercase,
and the G is uppercase, and I hate it. As someone who, as a typography nerd. I
spent a lot of time on the typography subreddit, and this does not.
It's either vexology or typography.
The fellas are not digging this one.
Don't get me started on that kerning.
What is kerning?
Space between the letters.
Okay. Look,
kerning
I don't know.
Is when you get right to the edge and then you stop yourself. I have like 2 hours of sleep this whole weekend.
Yeah. So you're partying too?
Yeah, cleaning up shit.
I'm sorry. As someone, I don't really know a lot about design. So if people tell me that the new logo kind of sucks, I believe them. I'm going to take their word for it. I do miss the big leaping Jaguar cat.
They'll bring a cat back in.
However, there were people that were mad for other reasons that I don't understand. I feel like every brand does some weird, kooky, like art house promo video that has nothing to do with cars. Like we see this every year, but for some reason people got really pissed about this one in particular. I don't know why. I don't understand it. And also, who cares about Jaguar?
Well, that's what's interesting, right? Is I've seen more people talk about Jaguar in the last week than ever before.
Suddenly, there's a whole army of Jaguar super fans out there. Where were you buying their cars?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Jaguar on the road in forever.
Well, I think that is why they changed the logo. Is because whatever was going on before.
Post-it note number 2 for this episode.
Oh
I got some numbers here. So Jaguar's highest selling year in the US ever was 2017, where they sold a whopping 39,886 cars.
That's low.
Yeah, not very much, but for a brand of their size, pretty decent. However, last year they sold just over 8,300 cars.
Ooh.
Huge drop off in 7 years. Globally, though, around the entire world, Jaguar sold 63,241 cars total last year, which I think pretty bad.
Yeah,
That's really low.
Wow.
And surprisingly, you think their sales numbers would be led by their big old SUV that they debuted a couple years ago, which I think pretty good looking SUV.
I think it looks good.
And SUVs tend to save sports car manufacturers, how the Cayenne saved Porsche.
Yes, but that's not the case. Jaguar's best-selling cars last year were the XE and XF sedans.
Wow.
Globally, which I don't know, it's kind of cool actually, because that means like Jaguar historically has sold some really cool sedans over the past couple decades. So it's interesting to see them leading their sales numbers.
You know what that says to me, though, is that it's still just old people that are buying it, because old people want a car that's easy to get into.
And I think that Jaguar really established themselves having that legacy for the older clientele.
Oh, absolutely.
Most of the cool old Jags, the old XJs and whatnot. I mean,
it is boomer stuff.
60s, 70s.
They come with an optional CPAP machine.
I should get one of those.
Nolan, you look like you snore.
I don't know if I do. Thanks.
Dude, that's mean.
I don't think I do, but I probably should look into that. So
I snore real bad.
I believe
I just wanted to. It was. Dude, I'm sorry that I was being mean, because I feel.
I also
self-conscious of my own snoring.
I feel. So. I took that. The brunt of that for Nolan, because my jaw falls back. It just falls back and everything gets clogged, and I snore.
So some of you might be asking, well, hey, Jaguar wouldn't be in this position if this made some more F-types, right? Just keep making that F-type. Why don't we make more sports cars? Well, last year, actually, let's start in 2015. Which I believe was the year or the year after the F-Type debuted in the U.S. The best-selling year for the F-Type, the two-seat Roadster or coupe, with some really great-sounding engines. Best-selling year in the U.S. was 2015 with 4,659 cars. Again, not terrible, but also not
4,000 cars?
4,600 F-Types sold in the U.S.
That seems really low.
2023, surprisingly, over 1,100 cars. Last year, 1,100 F-Types sold in the U.S.
That's so low.
Still holding on. I guess who is this for, this rebrand? I don't really know. I think maybe they're trying to take a page out of Maserati's book.
I think they're trying to steal some like Tesla clientele.
Maybe.
I don't know why they would want to take a page out of Maserati's book, because I feel like Maserati's in a similar position where they don't really have that much brand affinity with younger people right now.
Yeah, but producer Audrey and I were talking about this. We went to Maserati's
House
villa.
of Maserati.
Yeah, and
House of Maserati.
I bought the same soap that they had at that party because I liked it so much.
At Car Week. And that was the first time I noticed that they're on their Roadster there, which is super sick. There's a giant Triton over the engine bay. I did not notice that on like previous cars. I didn't know that was there. And Audrey pointed out it's kind of like, it reminds her of like big Gucci bags or Dior bag with like huge logos on them. I don't know if either of the Louis Vuitton bag. That's a better example. Like Maserati's kind of going for that play a little bit, like gaudy, like new money vibe.
Yeah. Oh, that like the Roadster that they had on display there that was like purple and yellow.
Oh yeah, blue and yellow.
Yeah. Oh,
that was the worst color combination I've ever seen on a car.
But it showed off, like, I don't think that's what they were going, like, that was to show off the program where you can customize your car however you wanted.
Yeah, you can make it look like dog shit.
Yeah.
Do you want to make it look like a Chuck E. Cheese booth?
Hey, money does not buy taste. And I think they were showing that off. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Brain genius extraordinaire Martin Brundle called the move genius and said, quote, everyone is talking about Jaguar in a moment of time when they're not actually making cars.
They're not even making cars?
Jaguar production has been halted.
Yeah, on pause right now.
Yeah.
Type F in the chat for the F-Type.
Nice.
That's funny.
So again, with the all EV move, I think JLR is taking a look and being like, look, if we're gonna make SUVs, and we should do that with Land Rover. I mean, Jaguar does have a SUV, but we don't know if that'll survive. Maybe they make an EV SUV.
I bet they will.
Maybe
they probably have a sedan.
I hope they keep the sedan. The sedan's really good looking. So I don't know, just making sure there's, using this as an opportunity to make sure all the brands are distinct in the portfolio, and also, again, I did not know that so many people cared so much about Jaguar.
People don't. They're like, I don't know.
Are they
It's just
using-
something to get angry about.
I think so. It's like, again, the last cool F-Type, I think, for most people listening to this, most enthusiasts, would probably be the F-Type. That was like 10 years ago.
You can get a 2017. I was actually looking at these.
Yeah.
You can get like a 2017, the coupe F-Type Jaguar for like 80% off.
Oh yeah, we made a video on one
Yeah.
last year because
I thought it was this year. It was
this
earlier
year,
this
it was
Yeah.
just a couple
In the
months
summer.
ago. They've depreciated like crazy, and honestly,
They're pretty
you
nice.
can find some really nice
Yeah.
ones
Yeah.
too, like a 2015 era. Even the F-Type R, you could find
Yes.
in the 20-ish grand range.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. So they did also, along with this whole press release and everything, this whole extravaganza, everybody made a bunch of noise. I think what kind of went under the radar was they released a little teaser image of some angle of their new car that they're debuting next month in Miami. And I don't know. I'm holding my breath. I think it's I think it'll be kind of cool. I hope.
The designs have always been cool.
Yeah.
It's never been like a reliable brand. They were owned by Ford for a long
Mhm.
time.
That's right.
And yeah, I don't know. It's nothing I can ever afford. So why would I get like up in arms about it,
I just hope this new one, I hope the Union Jack paint job from Austin Powers is an option.
Oh, the Jaguar is
Ooh.
actually up for sale.
That's other Jaguar news. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, we should buy the Jaguar. Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. Should we buy a Jaguar? Let us know in the comments.
Dude, we would quote Austin Powers so much more
Yeah.
if we had that car.
Magma.
Freaky deaky Dutch.
So if you Max Verstappen, world champion.
Yeah.
If you want a modern Jag but hate this rebrand, TWR has just the car for you. It's called the Supercat.
Ooh.
Brings the XJS into the 21st century. This thing's powered by a 651 horsepower supercharged
Yeah.
V12 engine. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is designed by Kaisel Salim, aka the Kaisa on
Kaisa.
Instagram. We've actually featured him in a video or two here
Yeah.
over the
He
years.
does amazing renders.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, really cool guy. He's got his body kit company over in Britain called Live to Offend.
And
LTO.
he's 6'7".
He's a tall man, and this is a long car.
Wow.
Wow.
And he also
Wooden steering wheel still.
he collaborated with Magnus Walker on this one, and that's why you're going to see some of those classic looking touches, like the leather steering wheel.
Which is so brown it looks like wood.
I will say it is weird to see that like really old school looking steering wheel and then a digital gauge cluster.
That's
behind it.
pretty sick, actually.
I like it.
I'm
It's a
into
really
it.
interesting juxtaposition of this old silhouette with like the
Yeah.
the angel eye headlights and all the digital clusters.
Very
and whatnot.
cyberpunk.
Mhm.
It is very Kaisel, which makes sense because he designed it. So that's obvious statement of the day from
Yeah.
Nolan.
Yeah.
This thing's pretty badass.
You know, the best part about it is it's got usable performance.
It's a little bit rock and roll.
There's going to be a run of 88 cars. They will all be hand built in the UK. TWR stands for Tom Wilkinshaw Racing, who actually took the OG XJR to an overall victory in the 1984 European Touring Car Championship. It's a really big name, Tom Wilkinshaw. So that's cool that they're putting their stamp on this guy. TWR was also responsible for the legendary Group C XJR9, which is that one with the covered wheels in the back, I believe, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, purple and white and yellow
Cool.
Group C car. That's pretty sick.
When I first read this story, I thought it was TVR, which they're known
Trevor.
that'd be
for.
sick.
They're known for their V12s,
Yeah.
but those are super unreliable.
Well, this XJ in particular that they're basing the resto mod
Yeah.
on is, I believe, the cheapest V12 car you can buy. Period on the used market right now.
Wow.
You can find these things for like $3,000, $5,000.
Does Max for Cracks have one of those?
He does with it's got a Chevy 350 in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And interestingly, he bought it from an old lady who had the engine swap done. I think literally because she couldn't afford to upkeep the
Okay.
V12, so she just
Wow.
put a Chevy 350 in
Nice.
it. It's not a fast engine swap or anything. It's just not as unreliable as the
Yeah.
V12.
I think it's pretty sick.
Yeah, going back to Jaguar reliability.
Speaking of unique engine swaps, If you're looking for a unique engine swap, a company called Bespoke Engineering has got you covered. They have a new engine called the Motion RE03, and they say it can fit in a variety of cars. Well, you're saying, Nolan, what's the big deal? Well, this thing is a radial engine, like a freaking biplane, like Snoopy would fly.
Yeah, like Snoopy would shoot down enemies with
in
his biplane.
The Red Baron.
Yes. Yeah. So radials are typically only found in old aircraft, because they're pretty tall motors. Like they can be really big.
Yeah, and in a radial engine, you've got the rotating assembly at the center, and then all of the pistons, the cylinders, are on the outside of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. But Bespoke Engineering has found a way to make them much more compact and reliable. So typically, radials have an external crankshaft. That's crazy. But the RE03's is internal, and that makes it operate more like a twin-cylinder motorcycle engine rather than a giant biplane engine. Most of its components are from an LS as well, making the parts easy to find. That's really smart.
That is smart.
It's also water-cooled instead of air-cooled. They offer several engines, including the 2-liter 3-cylinder that we've been discussing.
RE03. That's
RE03,
okay.
yeah.
I get it. Makes sense.
And they can be spec'd out in a ton of different ways, from 120 horsepower to 240 horsepower naturally aspirated, or 260 horsepower with forced induction.
That's sick.
This thing can rev over 8,500 RPM with optional forged internals. Unfortunately, it can also cost up to $25,000. But hey, I mean, SEMA next year, I think we're going to see some. We're going to see something next year at SEMA with one of these.
25 grand for 250 horsepower.
Yeah, but it sounds like this. Cool. So pretty good. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude, put that in a little like British Roadster. Take it down to.
Is it tall though? You were talking about how
let's take a look. Take a look at the some pictures here.
Whoa. Okay. So that makes sense in a VW bus. You have a lot of room in the back.
Yeah, no, but that is a legit question. Look at that. So there's your flywheel at the back there. Yeah. So yeah, it would definitely be hanging down a little bit, those cylinders, but you can also see where the exhaust is coming out there at the bottom.
Yeah.
And
surprisingly compact.
It is pretty compact. Yeah. You could mitigate that, the depth of your cylinders, by making the throw on the crankshaft pretty long and having your rods be shorter, so they don't have to like most of your, maybe more of your leverage is in that the crankcase area rather than in the cylinder itself, so your cylinders can be a little shorter. They're not have to droop down so much.
Over square setup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would put one of these in a Morgan 3-wheeler, and then I'd give it a really big extended swing arm, because I've never seen that before, and I think it'd be badass. Put like like one of those like Hayabusa extended swing arms on there, and like a really sick they had these drag Hayabusas at the Tucson show, for example. Really fat tires, and
sick as hell. Dude, a 3-wheeler would actually be a great application for this. I think that's a really cool idea.
A Vanderhall Venice.
Vanderhall Venice.
Yeah, one of those. So there you go.
Cool.
Radial engine. So maybe in your Nissan, Joe.
Dude, oh my God. I had we all changed the spark plugs on my old Z. That sucked. Awful. Every little thing you do to the Z takes so much time. All I want, I broke the hood latch cable, and so I ordered a new one. I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. You just like pop it through the firewall, blah, 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 feed it through, whatever. It's impossible. You have to have a monkey arm to get in there and get this little bracket off.
Yeah.
And so I spent 4 hours trying to figure out how to get this bracket off. There's no way to do it. You have to take off like the clutch master cylinder. You have to take out the reservoir for the windshield washer fluid.
What?
I was like, I'm not doing all that. I started to do it and I was like, this is stupid. So I just routed it underneath the grill and made a little bracket on the air dam so I can just pop the hood from there.
All right.
Wow.
Well, that's Joe's Project Car Update, and that is our show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Follow us at Donut Podcasts and our personal accounts. You got Max Maddox at Max Maddox.
I'm an island boy.
More of that if you want it. You can follow Joe at Joe G. Weber. Follow me at Nolan J. Sykes. Thank you very much. Thanks to our crew this week, Edgar Grajeda, Audrey Holden, and Mark Schroeder. And thank you for listening, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Drive safe. Have some quality time with your family or friends, however you celebrate Thanksgiving, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.